Hey there, everybody. This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
This is Elliot.
Hope everybody out there is having a fantastical day.
Fantastical, huh?
So we are back.
Finally.
Yeah, we didn't stop uploading, of course, but we took a little break off for the holidays, man, and
It was nice.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see nobody because I was sick.
Being sick kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was not fun.
But
we had the cocoa.
Yeah, but we back.
We are back.
Back like we never left.
Of course.
Super excited. So
it's
New Year's, man. New Year's resolutions.
Those are cringe.
Yeah, it's a little weird because a lot of people don't really mean it. They just doing it, I think, because other people are doing it.
That's why it's cringe.
Yeah.
Because I think the problem with a New Year's resolution is everybody has a resolution, but if you don't actually do anything to accomplish the goal you set out for, it just kind of feels hollow. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, and then you don't actually follow through on it. So,
well, as the resident goal achiever,
yeah, that you do hold the title. Get you a belt or something.
I kind of like the resolution thing because it kind of gives you a fresh start. The idea behind it is a fresh start,
and I think that's that's probably the positive aspect. So I think doing it is probably 100% fine. It's probably really cool. It's the telling people that you have a New Year's resolution as a way to try and hold yourself to it, and then still not.
Yeah, like you're on the phone with somebody in the line at the Chinese restaurant saying that you're gonna lose weight.
Yeah,
or if you're like,
that wasn't me, by the way.
No, that wasn't any either of us. But I'm just saying, you guys know. You know those people that have a new goal of,
and you
doing something
January 2nd.
Like, yeah, they're like, I'm gonna stop cussing this year while they're cussing you out.
You're making me break my New Year's resolution.
Yeah, so no, I'm working on my book. I want to finish the first draft of my book this year.
You wanna give us a preview of what it'll be about?
Yes. So I'm working on a book right now. It's basically a book about political corruption in America. So I want to kind of talk about the things that we all know, but I would argue the media doesn't really talk about. So they'll tell us that we can't afford universal health care. They'll tell us that we can't afford to do any of the things the average person wants. Help with student loans, help with housing.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
and then proceed to spend all of the money that they could have spent on those things that we can't afford.
So we spent like $50 million or $1 billion to Ukraine. But they're like, we can't afford free college.
And I think the problem is I don't even necessarily disagree with sending the money and stuff to Ukraine the way we're doing it. I disagree with, because we're doing it with almost absolutely no oversight. We don't know where the money is going. We don't know where the weapons are going. We don't have records of where all this stuff is going. That's a problem. But just in principle, I don't see any issue with us helping Ukraine. I see an issue with us helping Ukraine to the detriment of the people who live in this country.
And I think, to finish one thought. So that's what the book is about. It's basically a guide to understanding the media apparatus, along with, I think, a cultural thing where an entire generation of this country has been convinced that the government can't help you, even though they have the funds and the mechanisms to do so.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and I'll lay all that stuff out in the book. But as far as Ukraine, I personally think we should have helped Ukraine. But I think that there is space in that conversation to say, well, if we have all this money, we can just find it. When somebody's saying, hey, how come we can't do UBI, for example? And they're like, oh, we can't afford that. We don't have money for, forget UBI, because UBI is a permanent thing. How about semi-annual stimulus checks?
A semi-annual stimulus. Matter of fact, it don't even necessarily got to be a stimulus check. It could literally be in tax, doing your taxes being free. Yeah. That is stimulus all on its own.
Even if it wasn't free, I mean, it's crazy that you have to pay for that.
It's nuts. Right? It shouldn't cost money for me to pay money to the government.
As always, you know where I'm going with this. There are there are tax companies,
that lobby the government.
HRBT, is that what it's called? Or no,
it's H&R Block.
H&R Block.
Yeah.
HRBT is the bus company. H&R Block and all those companies, they lobby the government to make sure that filing your taxes is as complicated as it is. That is by design.
Of course,
And if you don't know that, there is actually a law that politicians put up in the federal government to basically simplify it.
Yeah,
and it got killed.
Yeah, of course it did.
No, the things are the way that they are because people are paying to keep them the way that they are. And so,
I mean, and I think the other problem is not just the lobbying, but it's also like the kind of culture of, oh, well, that's all you can expect from politicians. It actually really grates my nerves. One of the things that happened recently, you know about the I can't think of the guy's name now that I'm trying to talk about him. The senator from Long Island that got elected, and basically he lied, and he's
a congressman.
A congressman. Yes. And he has like a history of just lying about things. So it seems like this dude might actually have a problem. He might be like a pathological liar or something. But
he definitely is.
But that's not my place to say. Like, he would need a doctor to assess that for him. But the real problem is people look at that. Now, that is an extreme, egregious, over-the-top case of somebody who has he's lied about his sexuality, he's lied about his credentials, he's lied about his work history, he's lied about everything.
For those who don't know,
you remember
he's talking about George Santos.
There we go. Thank you.
I had to look it up real quick.
Yeah, because
George Santos basically is a congressman who actually won his election this time. So last time, George Santos ran as a super right-wing Trumpy guy, and he lost.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, he lost.
Of course he did.
So he ran this time as a moderate. And so he goes out there and he's just like, you know what? Telling everybody that I love Trump and the insurrection's cool and all that stuff isn't cool. So let's try just being a standard run-of-the-mills corporate Republican.
Yeah.
And so he goes out there and he's
but he's gay.
That's the thing. Is he? Yeah. So he was married to a woman up until 2019 and just got a divorce.
Yes.
Like, he said that he was Jewish. And then
he was
did like a serious deep dive into his like ancestry, and they're all like, he's not Jewish. He's like Brazilian. Like, they looked up his mom and his dad, and then traced his.
That's not even in the same stratosphere, bro. You're in a whole new continent.
And the gay nightclub, the Pulse shooting.
Yeah, he
had some employees that worked for him that got killed at companies that don't exist.
And my question is, why lie about things that are verifiable?
They're so easy to fact check.
It's not even, like, if you're gonna lie, you should at least lie about stuff that people can't fact check you.
Yeah.
Like, he might have thought he'd get away with the Jewish thing.
He said he worked at Goldman Sachs. You know how easy it is to fact check that?
Listen, and then I assume you saw the Tulsi interview.
Of course. Tulsi's like liar number one. So it's kind of wild that she's calling somebody else out.
Honestly, I disagree with that take. But hold on, before we'll argue about Tulsi in a second. So when she asked him about that and about him lying about everything, sir, what's the definition of integrity? I was like, ooh. But then his justification was, oh no, listen, I was just, I worked with businesses who worked with Goldman Sachs, so I worked for Goldman Sachs. That was like,
it's like the Jewish thing. I didn't say I was Jewish.
I said I was Jewish. Yeah, trying to just bend the lie a little bit so that it still fits.
That's what we call in the business lying.
Yeah,
or what he would call embellishments.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a liar. But Tulsi.
Okay. Why do you say that she's a liar?
Okay, and let's make sure we are clear. Tulsi Gabbard, she was a congresswoman in Hawaii for like 6 or 8 years.
You're just gonna turn this into an educational program.
Yeah, because I want people to understand who we're talking about before I just drag on about Tulsi.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So Tulsi Gabbard, she's now actually a contributor on Fox News. She'd be hosting for Tucker Carlson. So Tulsi Gabbard, when she was in Congress, was a left winger. She was one of the only Democrats to unendorse Hillary Clinton and endorse Bernie Sanders in 2016. She supported Medicare for All. She ran for president as a leftist candidate. As you might know, Anna Kasparian was like, she's not a leftist, guys. And like Tulsi's fans went crazy on her.
Okay.
And she's like a hardcore Republican.
Okay, wait. Because that's not true. She is not a hardcore. Wait.
Okay.
She's not a hardcore Republican. And this is why I want to have this conversation, okay? Because I think she's not a leftist like Anna Kasparian is a leftist. She does not believe the same things that Anna Kasparian
She was when she was running.
That's not true.
Elliot, did you
Listen,
see her?
Yes, I did. She believes in particular things that overlap with leftists. And I think this is like a thing where she gets this really bad rap. Some of it is deserved because I think she does the normal politician thing where she leaves herself just enough wiggle room to never really be lying or ever really be wrong. So, like, can you say that she does like the standard politician stuff? Sure. But usually her votes line up with the stuff she says she supports. It's just that there are things that she supports that we don't. So I don't think she's a Republican. I think she's just an independent. She's one of those people that has some views that overlap. She believes in Medicare for All. She believes in trying to reduce lobbying. She believes in trying to reduce corruption. things of that nature. But she likes military spending. She likes some interventions. She doesn't like.
What I'm saying is,
when she was
running, she was the only more anti-war candidate than Bernie.
Yes,
she's against Muslim countries. To be
yes, those interventions she's not a fan of at all.
No, she was against almost all the interventions.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, she was for those strikes, not
exactly
the war in Iraq and the war
not
in
boots on the ground, not sending a bunch of soldiers over there.
The questions at the time was like, yo, if you're for these strikes while people are basically being murdered in open air markets, and we're bombing weddings, we were bombing schools.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, but I want you to. The problem is you are you're like trying to pack her view down into like this specific lens.
No, I was a Tulsi fan back then. What I'm saying is, when I say she's a Republican now,
hold on.
I need to make sure that. Hold on. I don't understand if you know why I'm saying that.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're saying, okay, I used to be a Tulsi fan. I liked all the things she was saying until she started saying things that I didn't like. So now she's a Republican. That's what I'm hearing you say.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what about her views right now makes her a Republican? That's what I'm trying to get from you.
Okay, first of all, one, the fact that she has spent the entire administration of Biden attacking him on the border, attacking him on... Biden has the exact same...
Wait, hold on.
Wait. What I'm saying. He has the exact... She's saying that the country has open borders.
Yeah.
And there is no law at the border. Now, as you probably know, Title 42 is still in place.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court, it just expired. The Supreme Court last week just re-implemented it, meaning that because of COVID, you cannot come in. So they have the right to tell you cannot get a asylum trial with a judge. No, we just send you back.
Okay.
So there's that. There's also the fact that now she's hosting on Fox News, constantly reading the exact same line.
The same talking points.
The exact same ones. Maybe you didn't see her Sean Hannity interview.
I probably did. I don't think I did.
He asked her issue by issue by issue by issue, hey, do you support this anymore? And she's like, no. Do you support this? No. Okay. Well, he was reading off of Bernie Sanders' campaign website. But she was like, no, I don't support that.
What? Give me some examples of
For example, he was asking her about free college, and she's like, no. And he was asking her about Medicare for all. She did the Elizabeth Warren half and half thing.
Okay.
So I can't, attack her, but do you think she's talking about Medicare for all on Tucker Carlson's show every night?
But this is the problem with what you're saying, okay? So what I'm hearing you say is, okay,
all the issues that she supported, she now does not support.
You're saying all, but
let's even say most.
Okay, you just said most, but did she have big issues with our border security when she was in Congress?
No, but I'm not saying listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to answer you. I'm not saying she did or didn't have issues with the border security when she's in Congress. What I specifically said was, now that she has decided she is going to play the right-wing game, she is lying, like Sean Hannity is saying, oh, Trump was the president and the border was closed. Biden is the president and the border is open. Yes.
She said
Trump was the president. Every night that because of Joe Biden's open border policy,
okay, hold on.
True.
Stop. Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, does she say when Trump was president, the borders were closed? Did she say that?
Yes. She's saying that because Joe Biden changed Trump policy.
Okay, hold on.
No, that's what you're saying. She's saying Joe Biden changed the Trump policy. Now the border is open.
Okay, so this is what I will give you. She is doing the Weasley thing where because she's on Fox News, she's playing it up for the right-wing audience.
Right.
I will grant you that. My problem with what you're saying is...
What Democrat is saying that?
It's not about... Okay, but Democrats are also doing all kinds of corrupt stuff. So
they're super corrupt. You know that.
Okay, so we don't want to use them as the ruler. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't shove Tulsi in a Republican box because when you do, you don't allow other people who aren't in Republican boxes to actually be your allies on the things they're allies with you on. So I don't... Wait. I don't want you to say Tulsi is a Republican. I want you to say Tulsi has become a right-winger. It's a very important distinction because Republicans and Democrats tend to be kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats are best friends.
They work exactly the same way. So
okay, you know what? I can even kind of go with that. But like, you know, go ahead. My main thing is right now is just that, and I want to make sure I'm clear. You know how I feel about the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
I feel like they are 85% useless.
Yeah,
15%.
I mean, they're useless to us as normal people.
Yeah,
if we were 15% millionaires,
useful,
they'd be great,
right?
Yeah.
Because like honestly,
they're still better than Republicans.
Yeah, and I feel like their goal
15%
is to be barely better than Republicans.
Yeah,
because that's like the sweet spot, right?
Yeah, so that's how you make as much money as
corporate
possible.
donors, but we are in power, right? Because I don't think the Republican Party wants to be in power. I think that they feel that their position is an opposition party. So, like, I feel like they're more comfortable being in the minority because, one, they get to blame the Democrats because things are bad, because they are blocking things. Two, they aren't responsible for legislating. Remember when Trump first won?
Yes.
And Trump had the majorities?
Yes, and they didn't do anything. Yes.
Now, when they lost those majorities,
all of a sudden it's the Democrats' fault that nothing was happening.
Nancy Pelosi's in charge. Can't you believe
that they didn't get anything done?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you guys are in power for 2 years, and y'all didn't even have a healthcare plan. Yeah. Literally, all they had was two things. One was tax cut for the wealthy, and two was repeal Obamacare, and maybe we replace it, maybe we don't.
Yeah.
Maybe remember the skinny bill?
Yes.
Remember the skinny
But
whatever?
It literally just cut stuff out of Obamacare. It didn't fix any of the problems with Obamacare.
And then they had the thing where they were like, oh, the skinny bill's not passing because you had like one or two Republicans voting no. So why don't we just repeal it?
Yeah.
and then we'll come back later and figure it out.
Yeah.
You guys lose your healthcare now.
Yeah. And then we'll figure it out. We'll come back to it.
It's cool. Like, that's the type of stuff that makes me wish the Democrats were better at arguing, because the argument for the Republicans is and the corporate Democrats is you guys are going to take away healthcare.
Okay. But here's the problem with what you're saying, okay? And this is why I'm so dogged about not letting you call Tulsi a Republican, because it's important. The reason the Democrats continue to get away with being just 15% better than Republicans is because everybody looks at Democrats and they look at Republicans and they look at the fact that they are pretty much doing the exact same things Democrats in tandem, and they're really working together to screw everybody. Mm-hmm. And they say, oh, well, all politicians are like that. I don't think that Tulsi is actually like that. I don't think people like Matt Gaetz, as much as I dislike probably 90% of the things that he stands for and the things that he advocates.
Yeah,
I don't think a Matt Gaetz. I don't think a Ro Khanna, though Ro Khanna is giving me kind of...
Ro Khanna's still probably the best.
He's still probably the best congressman. He's probably one of the best congressmen we have. So I do want to give him credit where it's due. His voting record is fantastic. He does talk about the issues we genuinely care about.
And he is the only person that will, go on left-wing shows and actually fight and actually talk to them. Look, I know that we lost the, for example, when you remember when
hold on. Before we go on to the next point. Yeah. But it's important because we need to give space for people who actually are, who have real morals, who have real values, to express those values, for us to disagree with those values, but those people are not the same as the politicians that we have right now. The current breed of politicians that's in control are shapeshifters. They're chameleons. They will just be whatever they need to be in the moment to get you to stop looking at them so they can run out the back door with the money. You don't want to lump in a Tulsi with those sorts of people, because then you don't ever get enough Tulsis to actually convince people that government can work properly, because we need to get rid of all of the grifters and the chameleons and the people who are just trying to run out the back door with the money.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Tulsi is doing that, but what we don't have yet is the ability to play the videos and show it and discuss this. So what I'm gonna do is, after we're done today, I'm gonna give you some clips of Tulsi, because I really want you to see, Elliot, she is the shapeshifter that has now really holding the Republican Party line, not just some right-wing line.
But I don't know how much Fox News you watch, but I watch Tulsi on Fox News. I watch it. I've watched a fair bit of Tulsi on Fox News, and I think the thing, yes.
And you haven't seen her saying
I just haven't seen the stuff you've seen. I saw a whole bunch of her appearances on Fox News when she was still in Congress.
Oh,
and
no.
I haven't seen
That's a
all.
totally different
Yeah,
case.
I haven't seen like her show and stuff. So you might be right. It might be the case that now Tulsi has gone like full Republican
she's
on
full
her show.
on.
Yeah,
she's
but
farther than Jimmy Dore. Like Jimmy Dore now, he doesn't say, "I love Republicans." He just says, "If you're for anti-war, you should have voted for Trump."
Okay,
and he's like, "Do not ever vote for Democrats."
but here's the problem.
She's gone farther than that.
Okay,
my point.
but here's the problem. I think Jimmy Dore is a different example.
He's
I don't know.
grifter.
Yeah,
he's doing this because I think he's found a niche.
At a certain point, the brother might have really needed some money. Okay, and he realized that
maybe
all of these
bad back.
Listen, all these lefties are not paying the bills. I need to get me some Trump Republicans over here.
It's not a lot of money
so I can
on
get
the
some money.
left. You know
That's not true.
Compared to the right?
Nope, there's a ton of money on the left. Here's the problem. Most of the money on the left is tied up in other stuff. They don't put their money where their mouth is. That's what it is.
What I'm talking about is major like donors that are going to pay you to do what like Charlie Kirk does, for example, where billionaires will just give you a couple $1 million a year and just say, "Hey, run this propaganda Prager, Dennis Prager."
No, here's
Charlie
the problem.
Kirk.
Okay, they can do that for a Charlie Kirk
and Dennis Prager.
Because Charlie Kirk and Dennis Prager are advocating for things that make them more money.
Dave Rubin.
They're advocating for things that make them more money.
That's my point.
So
what I'm saying
if you're a leftist,
lefties aren't like you. There aren't.
Okay,
like Mark Ruffalo, for example, is not going to give.
But but I'm trying to get you to see the difference. If you're on the right, you're like, this is a business expense because if these people continue to convince people to vote for the sort of people who are going to continue to keep my taxes low, that's good for business. If you're a lefty who genuinely believes in lefty ideals, that ain't good for business. It's good for. So why, if you're a lefty, would you do that? The incentive is not the same. It's not It's not congruent.
You're not seeing how much we're agreeing right now. I'm saying that. Like what you're saying is the thing that I'm saying.
So what I
said was that there's not, like when I say there's not a lot of money on the left, I'm saying there's not a lot of billionaires that are going to say, "Hey, go tell people that corporations and billionaires should pay more in taxes."
Yeah, but that's not because there's not money. That's because they're not going to put the money in that because it's not a business expense.
Yeah, but where would they put the money, Elliot?
In things that will help their business.
Left-wing shows, left-wing... that's what I'm asking.
You're saying you're agreeing with me, but then I say something and you immediately disagree with it.
I'm asking. I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, so a left-wing show does not advocate for things that will make a left-wing person more money, generally speaking. So why would they put money behind a left-wing show?
That's what I'm saying.
So there's just rich people who don't put their money in that stuff because it's not going to make them any money.
Meaning that on the left, there's not a lot of money that's just handed out to further left-wing policies.
I think we all agree.
Do I think? Yes, I think that there's more genuine small dollar donors on the left, in my opinion. Trump had a lot of right-wing small dollar donors too, to be fair.
I think Trump had a lot of independent small
Think about how many Republican presidential candidates had small dollar donors like that and how many on the left did. I mean, how many Democrats did? You see what I'm saying?
I'm going to be honest.
Like you had Beto, who had a lot of genuine small dollar donors.
Yeah.
You had Kamala. You had Bernie. You had Elizabeth Warren.
But I think
I'm talking outside of the corporate money.
Yeah, but I would be pretty surprised if the majority of small dollar donors were like quote unquote left, and if they weren't some like mix. Because one of the things that I've noticed is like a lot of people who are on the left don't believe a lot of the stuff that gets advocated for. They just know that where we're at is not working and we need to move further. Like we need to actually be doing something about the problems. And it seems like the only people who are actually looking for solutions, even if they're not getting any of it done, are the people on the left. So we mentioned Ro Khanna earlier. I want to talk about that appearance he had on Rising where Breonna Joy Gray kind of turned the heat up a little bit on him.
Well, the thing is, right, I'm going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I respect Ro because Ro is the only one that's going to do that. To be honest with you,
he's the only one going to put himself in that position.
Ayanna Pressley and all of them, even Bernie and Elizabeth Warren right now, they're not really doing that.
No.
And it sucks because, this is something Kyle Kulinski talks about a lot. Like, on the right, I feel like they recognize the importance of the younger media platforms compared to on the left, right? So you go to a convention on the right, and you'll have Ben Shapiro, you'll have Charlie Kirk, you'll have shows that are the equivalent of a Rising on the right present, and not just present but prevalent, right? And the Congress people, they go on Ben Shapiro's show, they go on whoever, they go on Charlie Kirk, they'll go on these shows, and they'll just constantly have, Alex Jones back in the day, right? They'll just constantly be having that dialogue. And on the left, I think Ro Khanna is like the lone warrior that's like, nah, like, even if you guys disagree, I got to go talk to you. And I respect that. Like, I really do. And even though, to be honest with you, they all should be turning the heat up on them.
True.
Because, and Ro Khanna did an interview with Cenk after they lost the Build Back Better vote. And he ripped him apart. And he was just like...
Cenk did?
Yeah. Because he's like... Okay, the first half, Ro was right. He's like, we did hold strong. We voted no twice. And Cenk was like, why didn't you vote no again?
Yeah.
Like you did, it's not like you got what you wanted this time. So what'd you vote yes for? And he's just like, we were afraid that we weren't going to get anything. And he's like, but they weren't afraid of that.
And I think that was the spirit of what Breonna was like kind of cooking him for. One of the things that makes me really angry about watching Matt Gaetz and like those other 3 Republicans do what they're doing.
Gilbert and all them.
Yeah. They're not doing it for what I would probably consider good reasons. Maybe they know something about Kevin McCarthy or what Kevin McCarthy plans or how he operates or whatever, that they genuinely have a legitimate, like moral quandary with. And they're like, hey, we know what kind of guy you are. We're not going to give you that kind of power. I understand. Anybody who's like, oh, I've been trying to be the speaker for however many years, I don't want that guy to have that power because he's lusting after the power so that because he has all these ideas in his mind of what he's going to do with that power.
They're fussing about him being in the speaker's office. Nancy Pelosi vacated the office.
And that's so petty. He's like, why are they getting to camp out in the speaker's office? Like, he's not the speaker.
He said he's squatting.
Bruh.
It makes me a little envious. But to be honest with you, Trump kind of made me envious sometimes because it was like, having somebody that's just like gonna just say it and just try.
Sure.
Like it would have been nice if Obama was like, yeah, we didn't get the votes for the public option, but we're gonna try it anyway.
Yeah, we're
gonna point out who's voting no.
Who's voting no. And that's I think that's the thing that makes me
could have had that.
Bro, that's the thing that makes me really frustrated is when I watch how
they just don't care.
They're like, listen, I've decided I don't want that guy to be in the speaker seat. So y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. Y'all give me somebody else to vote for.
And that's the thing,
we can talk
bro.
about it.
Like that's the thing that I think Nina Turner would have been so good for. Where you need a leader who's not afraid of the media scrutiny.
So you remember? You remember we had the argument about Pramila Jayapal, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember why I was saying, hey, I don't think Pramila Jayapal is a good leader?
Yeah.
This is what I meant.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
But
the point that I was making was I felt like you were saying that Pramila Jayapal was always like that, and I was saying I don't agree with that.
The problem,
I think she got worse after Bernie lost.
When you say she wasn't always like that, it indicates that at some point she was leading the charge and she was willing to put like her her coziness with her compatriots, with her coworkers on the line. Okay,
between Trump getting elected, and Biden winning,
but here's the problem. When you say she was, at some point that changed.
Right.
For something like that to change, it means you weren't actually willing to put it on the line. I don't believe because here's the problem.
I agree. I understand,
point,
but
you decide, okay, actually,
this is a riskier bet than I want to take,
or I can do more good trying to play ball than holding to my morals. Because if I hold to my morals, they'll kick me out and replace me with somebody else. But the problem is there's something really, really fundamentally powerful about a person who is principled. And I think the hardest lesson...
That's why Bernie's still the most popular politician in America.
The lesson we keep losing, and we keep losing sight of, is being a principled person is so powerful that it has literally toppled nations. You have a guy who says, hey, I believe in this thing, and I believe in it so hard that nobody, no amount of oppression, no amount of discrimination, no amount of physical violence is going to make me turn away from this principle, this value, whatever. So I feel like a lot of our politicians just have lost sight of how powerful being principled is. That's why when when I hear the way that Ro Khanna talks about why they didn't do force the vote, it gives me the same feeling I get when I think about Pramila Jayapal, because at the end of the day, I need the person who's actually going to lead the Progressive Caucus is going to be a person who recognizes, understands, and is willing to use the power of being a principled person. I need to write that as a book.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think that's what's missing. That's why, like, I can only defend Tulsi but so much, because you're going to send me these clips and I'm going to watch them. And I might come back and be like, okay, Tulsi got to go on the Republican list. Like, there's no defending this. You might be right about that. But everything that I've seen just shows Tulsi being like an independent-minded person who feels like if she carries water for Democrats at all, she can't actually talk about the things she genuinely wants to talk about, because I think she has always had a pretty, like, adversarial position on the way that we deal with our border security. I think she's always had a pretty adversarial position on the way that we deal with our international policies and our trade and, you know, the way we treat our military and things of that nature. So it doesn't surprise me that as soon as she got free of being in Congress and she is doing her new thing, that she just starts talking straight trash about the Democrats. I just don't know if she's doing it by the Fox News book, where she just says all the Fox News stuff and then she sprinkles in.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Send me the clips. My mind can be changed.
You're not gonna be. I'm telling you, you're gonna listen to it. She sounds just like Tucker Carlson. Like,
listen,
you'll see. I'm gonna send it to you.
Maybe.
But I wanted to kind of go over some of the tweets I had tweeted out today.
Yeah.
So I had tweeted,
tweeting
about Force the Vote. So let's talk about Force the Vote a little bit.
All right.
So Force the Vote was a movement where they wanted the progressive Democrats in the House to basically vote no on Nancy Pelosi being the speaker until they extracted a vote on Medicare for all.
Right.
And just demand, basically, if you don't, then we're not going to vote for you.
Yeah.
And
that's
we'll just basically be in what we're dealing with right now,
we
where
don't
Kevin
even want
McCarthy
you to,
can't even get the vote.
We don't even want you to pass it. We just want it to go up for a vote. So
that
get
the people that are going to vote no get on the record
of voting no.
Yeah. And so I tweeted today. I said, it's a couple tweets. I said, can I say, as a Cenk Uygur fan, Force the Vote could have worked. Now, Jimmy Dore is a fake charlatan who now goes 100% nuclear on leftist allies, but I wish I could have sat them both down on this. I believe Cenk believed in Force the Vote at first, but petty fights split the left. Sure. I still agree with Cenk. Planning for who would take the House as the speaker was important, but maybe the plan should have been to extract the concessions and seriously vote for Pelosi. Like, get her desperate and then vote her as speaker.
Yeah.
But the leftist Dems in the House are bad strategists.
I mean,
not corrupt scammers who don't support Medicare for all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I can never get with the Jimmy philosophy. He clearly doesn't support any of the leftist candidates, but still. So my point was, I think they're proving right now, unfortunately, they're proving right now that it could have worked. And who knows what would have happened, but it could have worked. And it doesn't take that many people. The majority of the Democrats had was not big. But because they're afraid of the media scrutiny and because they don't have a leader, and that's I kind of put that at Bernie's feet a little bit. It's like, bro, control your troops, man. Like, get them and say, hey, we can do something here. Pramila, you have a Medicare for all bill that's better than the one that Bernie had. She should have been first in line, but no, she was at that point, the Democrats got the majority back. And like I said, after Biden won the primaries, when Pramila was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, I got to get along to get along. Well, and you're saying that proves that she never really meant the leadership that she had before, but I don't know.
All right. So here's the thing about being like a leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that are convinced that they might not have all the answers. And I think that's a decent position, right? I'm kind of like that. Like, I'm never so convinced of my own intelligence or my own information gathering or like whatever apparatus I think I have. Like, I'm never so confident in the information that I have in front of me that I can't have my mind changed. That being said, there are values that I try to live my life by. There are values that I hold. There are things that I think are fundamentally important. And I can point to those things and say, hey, while I could be wrong about the information underlying the facts of the matter here, there are values that I have that you can't make me turn away from just because it would be expedient for this thing. I'm not going to trade in this value in order to extract some value somewhere else because this is a thing that I believe in, right?
And that's why I think Bernie was so enticing to a lot of people, because that was the thought
and still
process.
is.
Yeah.
Because
you don't really get that in politicians, so to be honest. You just don't.
You don't.
A lot
get
of
it.
them are shapeshifters, like
It
you
ain't.
said.
It's not even politicians. I think in general,
It's just people.
Yeah, and the sort of people who gravitate toward politics are gonna be your least principled people because there are so many things that I think the fact that we don't know more about how things get decided on, the fact that all of these people get in these back rooms and they make these deals and they don't talk about it, is a product of the sort of person who goes into politics. Because you don't get the sort of person who's gonna be like, oh nah, so and so came to me and tried to force me to vote for this bill and told me, they was gonna keep me from fundraising and they was gonna do this and they was gonna do that. Nobody wants to come out and talk about those backroom threats because it's a gentleman's agreement that, hey, if I come to you and I try to put pressure on you, well, that's just how the game is played. We don't let the public know how the game is played because then, like, we can't play the game effectively anymore.
Right.
But that's the whole problem.
Yeah. And, and just kind of wrapping this topic up at least.
Yeah.
I just would I don't know. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see what the Republicans do. Because
we're
it
going to see
doesn't
what the
seem
10th
like Matt
vote
Gaetz
look
and
like.
them are gonna. No, it's gonna fail. It doesn't seem like Matt Gaetz and them are gonna budge. And so I don't know. He's already given away the farm. Actually,
yeah.
So really, he's gonna have to pull his nomination back.
There's like one or two more concessions he can make. There's like the one person can do the no confidence vote thing. I don't think they've given that up yet.
And he gave up something where like 5 people can.
Yeah, he said 5 people can do the no confidence vote. Which I'm gonna be honest, 5 people is pretty reasonable. But
5 people.
Yes. If you can, because you could get 5 people. You could get 5 people, even if they're not all Republicans, because you could get 3 Democrats anytime to do a no confidence vote potentially. So you could always get
look at what's happening in Peru right now.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so in Peru, basically they've had like 7 presidents in like the last like 5 years or something crazy like that. So basically, their president gets voted out by the Congress. All you need is a 50+1 vote, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No, hold on. So what's happening is, if you're not basically doing what the opposition party likes, they get rid of you.
Yeah.
So what happened was the president was like, okay, I'm going to abolish the Congress and rewrite the Constitution. Now, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But, like, my point is, when you have a situation where just a couple of people can decide we're going to change leadership.
Wait, okay, but a no confidence vote.
Yeah, that means they can bring the vote up.
Exactly. That's
right.
So that's fundamentally different. That's why I'm saying
but I'm saying that.
No, wait. Hold on. I don't want you to derail, okay? Peru has a situation where their Congress is capable of totally affecting the executive party of their government.
Well, in a way, 50+1 situation.
Exactly. But it's 50+1.
And then the president is just
And then the president is gone and they have a new election. Okay, that's very different from, hey, 5 people can say, we actually have a problem with the way the speaker is doing things, and bring up a vote, explain their issue, and see if everybody else agrees. And we can do that at any time with any 5 people, as long as we agree that we have no confidence.
I don't know about 5 people.
Here's the problem. Let's say they have a no confidence vote every single week. How many votes do they need to actually oust the Speaker of the House?
I don't know. Maybe 2/3. Probably.
It's probably 2/3. We can fact check it. If it's 50, even if it's 50%, that's still 200 and some votes that they would have to get. And even if they win those, like even if they get all the votes and they do the no confidence, all they're gonna do is go right back to this situation right now, where you got Democrats who are going to vote for whoever the Democrat person is, and the Republicans are going to vote for whoever their Republican person is, and they're never going to be able to get to the actual 216 or 18 or whatever the number is of votes that they need for the new Speaker of the House. So, no, I actually don't think 5 people is too little because, one, even if the Speaker of the House changed every 3 months, every 2 months, whatever, like, that's not a big deal in the scheme of things. It's abnormal.
Put Marjorie Taylor Greene back
in her box?
Her committees. I think that is a big deal because that's what Kevin McCarthy promised if he wins. That's why she's going hard in the paint trying to get him back in there.
And
she got taken out because did she say the Nazi thing or something? She said something crazy like Nazi things.
And she can stay right where she's at.
I gotta remember what it was she said. She said something insane, and they were like, okay.
I mean, it's probably just one among the list. You know, she's been wilding out for a while.
Easily. And she's the only person in Congress with no committee.
No committee? Yeah. She's not in any committee?
No, she was stripped of everything. Yes.
That is kind of wild. So what is she doing? Just voting on bills?
And going on crazy right-wing shows and whining.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I would be such
an easy job.
No, because I don't know what kind of congressman do you think you would be? Do you think you'd be trying to be in committees? Because I don't know if I would.
Yeah. If I was in Congress, I'll be such an active congressperson. Like, I'd be trying to be on all the nightly shows.
That's what I'm saying. I would
be actively trying to be like Katie Porter / like.
And maybe you're right, because committees really are where you that's where you get your subpoena power. That's where you're able to actually ask questions
and that's also where the bills come from. They go to committee first.
Well, true.
So if you're on the budget committee, you control how much money is about to get thrown at Ukraine. Or if you're on the healthcare committee, you control. Or if you're on the Bernie is about to be the chairman of another committee, the healthcare. This was the one about healthcare, labor law, whatever the name of it is. And an article came out this week saying that all these corporations and healthcare companies
are worried about Bernie because he got that
super scared.
He got that chairmanship.
They know that they can't bribe him is the point. So
isn't that amazing? Isn't that a wonderful feeling that they're quaking in their little boots, filled with money? Like, oh, what are we gonna do? We can't pay him off. So, but no, honestly, okay. The last thing about politics, and then we can talk about something else if you want to close it out.
Chair of
it's like the education,
health, education, labor, and pensions.
That's it.
Committee.
That's it. Yeah, he gonna clean up, and I can't wait. I love to see it. I can't wait. All right, one last thing about politics, and then we can talk about something else. Yeah. So here's something, and this is all feelings, no facts. Okay, so I don't even know if this is possible, if this is something that would actually work. I'm just saying, I stole that from Andrew Schultz. Shout out to Andrew Schultz. Okay, I feel like one of the things that the Progressive Caucus should do is they should try and get 2 or 3 members who aren't in any committees. Their only job is to go out and make a ruckus in the news. Their only job is to go, whoever the Speaker of the House is, whoever's in charge of whatever committees they're really trying to get bills pushed in. Their whole purpose is to vote correctly on the bills and then go on a show. They go on news, they go on podcasts, they go on Discord arguments. Their only job is to be public relations that also has a vote, so that they can say, hey, listen, I've talked to this person and this is what they're doing. I talked to this person in this committee and this is what they're doing. We have this bill that we just got out of committee and they won't put it up for a vote. And I don't know why. Y'all should call y'all congressman and ask them to ask why this isn't being put up for a vote, and literally just make a ruckus over and over and over and over again. Because I feel like if you have people, because if they're already expecting not to be in committees, and they're not particularly beholden to the donors because they're in the Progressive Caucus, so I would hope that they wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. What pressure can the establishment put on them other than just bad-mouthing them in the news, which they shouldn't care about if they're principled anyway, right?
Right.
And you get
that would be cool. I mean, it would be nice, but I would argue that they should do both. But yeah, I do understand you're saying make a ruckus in the news, so you don't even have to be in Washington all the time.
Well, and the other thing is, I think if you're doing the committees thing correctly, I think you need to be so in the minutia, you need to be so in the weeds on that. I don't think you would really have time or energy to be making the rounds and making a ruckus all the time. They're the main ones
to get the interviews, though.
Well,
the people with the power.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think those are the people that need to necessarily get the interviews. There should be Congress people that are just bullies at the pulpit. Their only job, they don't need to be in committee. They don't need to be out here trying to fundraise. They don't need to be out here trying to glad hand and do all that stuff. No, their only job is to look at the public and say, hey, public, this is what we think we should be doing. And these are the people that are keeping us from being able to do it. I'm going to go and vote on this thing if they ever put it up for a vote. But you need to help me be able to vote for it by calling your congressman and asking them why it's not happening. Yeah. There is something, like I said, there's something to be said about a message that you push out in this principle, and people look at you and like, man, he really cares about this thing. Maybe I should ask about it. Especially because there are a lot of Republicans that if you just say the same thing over and over and over again, like they gonna think, well, there's got to be something to it. Maybe I should look into this, even if it ain't true. Sometimes that works on the Republicans' favor, but it's worked for the Democrats before because that was the whole reason that they couldn't really get the Obamacare repealed, because the Democrats kept saying, hey, listen, if they repeal Obamacare, they're gonna take your health care, they're gonna take they're gonna do Medicare. Yes, bro. And people about the Medicare cuts and all of that, and like, are you really trying to take our Medicare?
Unbelievable. Like, they're still trying to privatize it, though.
They are, and
that will ruin it.
Well, and the problem is now they're trying to do it in sneakier ways because they realize they can't just out and out privatize. I
wish they could just.
They keep trying to bring in contractors.
That's the problem with the Democrats. Yeah, it's like, man, if the national conversation was what it should be, if we were there, the national conversation would constantly be, Republicans are trying to ruin your life. Democrats are basically trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, they're helping.
But like, why isn't the constant conversation in the country? You know, the Republicans tried to take away your healthcare last year. Well, you know, they tried to take away your healthcare 2 years ago because the Republicans are better at marketing. The Republicans have a better media apparatus that protects them, and they actually go talk to them, and they make sound bites and clips, and they push that
stuff out. I mean, that's true, but the other thing you have to contend with is there are people who have a genuinely held belief that the government can't do healthcare well. Yeah. And no amount of actual factual evidence is going to convince them of anything different.
And we're not and that's the thing that drives me nuts. Like, I remember I used to have this debate with Dad. We're not even arguing for the government to do health care. We're only talking about health insurance.
We're just talking about who's paying for it.
Is government health care. What they have in the UK, where the people that work for the doctor's office, they are government employees. Yeah, that is government doing health care. Yeah, we're just talking about government paying for your insurance, and then you can go to whatever private doctor you want.
So I'll give them like I'll try and steel man their case. Okay, if I control, this is the problem that we have with insurance companies right now. If I control how things get paid for and who gets paid, I control what gets done. So an insurance company can say, hey, if y'all don't do this procedure for this problem, we're not going to pay you. Yeah. If y'all don't use this medicine, if y'all don't use this medicine for this sickness, we're not going to pay you. And they can just make it so that you have to fight so hard to get paid that no doctor ever wants to deal with not doing it that way. Yeah, so they just know, okay, if you got Blue Cross, all right, bro, listen. I know you broke your leg. We're going to put you into surgery, but you can't have the good, you can't have the good antibiotics. You can't have the good pain medicine. Right. We can only give you this particular generic. We can't even give you the generic. We got to give you this particular name brand medicine because they won't pay for the generic because they say it's not effective.
But that's why I want to get rid of health insurance companies unless it's for
unless it's supplemental
care. Because in that scenario, the person would say, oh, well, I have the government plan, and the government plan is just get the healthcare that you need.
But I want you to hear what the contention is. So the contention is, hey, if the government is the one that is making that decision, oh, well, we're only going to pay for this particular procedure or this particular
medicine. Do you think that they would do that?
Yes.
Because you can't get the good antibiotics? Why do you think that?
Well, Medicare already does that now. So Medicare already says, hey, we are going to pay these prices for these medicines. And these prices only.
Yeah, and so what happens in those scenarios? It's not like wait. That would make it. If you look at the way the bills are actually written, not and this is what I always have to explain.
Hold on, because you got
Medicare today is not Medicare for all.
Okay,
so we got to make sure we make that clear.
You're doing the pivot thing, okay?
No, I'm not changing the subject.
You're not hearing what I'm saying. There are people who think the government will do a bad job of making the decisions about how much things should cost and what procedures or whatever should. So, like, that's a genuine concern. And in order to get those people on board with Medicare for all, we have to address that particular concern. And I think it's a legitimate one because government does have this thing where because people are like so sold into whatever policy they've decided on, they will continue to throw money at bad policy or continue to throw effort and money and support behind bad decisions or bad policies that are hurting people.
But so to that point,
we just need to address people who do that.
Do that with private corporations because we throw way more money
I'm not
at health
disagreeing.
insurance companies than we would
I'm not
at a
disagreeing with you.
Medicare for All program.
The reason
way
that,
more money.
in my opinion, the reason that a lot of people are more okay with an insurance company doing it versus the government is the base, why the insurance company is doing what they're doing. So you can look at an insurance company, you can look at what they're doing, and you can say they're doing that to make more money. And it makes sense to your brain. The problem becomes when you look at somebody in the government doing something that hurts people, you can't say they're trying to make more money because that's illegal. That's corruption. So then you have to say, okay, well, maybe they're evil, and you can't really say that either because if you're a reasonable person, you won't have evidence for that. Most of the time, they're not evil, so you can't say they're evil. So now you just have no idea why they're making bad decisions, and that is very unsettling for people. And I get that. I understand that.
I don't think that having critiques or even fears when it comes to new policy, like especially something that big, is irrational. I just think that I think that I want people to look at the damage that the current system is doing and look at other countries and how they're doing it better than us. And I want us to make a educated and very well thought out policy, right? This is not something, tomorrow we have Medicare for all, everyone's on it. No, I don't think it's going to go like that.
It should be well thought out. And I do think it's possible to do. So the problem that I think is sometimes when we talk about things like Medicare for all, or when we talk about other like big government programs, I really don't think we spend enough time addressing the fact that the government is capable of messing it up really badly. And we need to be very vocal about what we're doing to keep the government from being able to mess it up very badly. Like we need to be implementing safeguards and things in place, and then we need to talk about those things. Like, hey, listen, we want to do Medicare for all. Oh, the government can't administer Medicare. Look at the DMV. Listen, we hear how bad the DMV is. So
that's why I wish.
Here is what we're doing to make sure that your Medicare experience doesn't become your doesn't turn into your DMV experience.
Presidents like FDR was so much better
because they
remember the fireside chat.
Yeah,
like that is an area where I think Bernie would have been better. But he tried to actually talk to people.
Yeah, but
address their concerns.
Yeah, but the reason that FDR was doing those fireside chats, I'm guessing because I didn't talk to him. He was born before he was there before I was born. But if I were a betting man, it would be because he had a visceral understanding that the people who disagree with me,
I need to convince them.
I need to talk to them. Even if I can't convince them, I need to show them that I am principled and that I have a reason for doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And I need them to at least understand that I have a reason for doing what I'm doing. That's not I'm corrupt. I'm trying to steal from them. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Because if you can convince people that, hey, even if you don't like my answer, this is my reason for doing it, and they believe that at least his reason for doing it is genuine, people will give you a really long leash to try.
And that's the thing, like everyone out there, I'm a super nerd, so I listened to a lot of his fireside chats, and the one that I kind of liked the most was one he was he was president during the Great Depression, right? Like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So the president that was before him started the Great Depression with the tax cuts for the wealthy. And
that's right. Same stuff we're doing
now. I think it was Hoover or Coolidge. I always mix those two up. Anyway, the point that I'm making is there was a giant run on the banks.
Hoover Dam. Yeah, it was Hoover.
And what happened was people went to the banks, it took their cash out.
Yeah.
They don't actually have all of our cash there. Like, no, they just have some of it.
Right.
So if all of us go to the bank
and take all of
our money out, it's going to be
they just not going to have no money at that bank.
One of the fireside chats that FDR did in the 1930s, he said, look, we have now, that's when they started like the FDIC and all of these, basically the government backing up your money in the bank. So he told them in the chat, I hear your concern. I understand you all did a run on the banks. You could trust the banks again. Go to the bank
and pull your money.
Deposit your money. I promise you that the federal government will now back up your this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
So, like the point that you're making of you got to look at the other side's concerns and not just try to fix them, but actually address them. Yeah. Say, look, no, this is real. You're concerned about Medicare doing X, Y, and Z, and I hear you. This is what I'm going to do to fix that. And so, like, I already got all of my friends on my side. Are you on my side now? Or you at least understand? Okay, what other concerns do you have? And like,
Is there something else? Is there something that I could change about the way I'm approaching this that would convince you that it's a good idea? Because you agree with my goal.
Town hall that Bernie did with with
Yes.
Fox News.
Such a
Where
good
he had
town
all
hall.
I know.
It was
Give
so
me
good.
the drug that will give me the feeling of when Bernie won Nevada. Give me the drug.
No,
Put it in my arm.
No, you'll be hooked on that drug forever.
I know.
You'll never get off
I
of it.
feel great, but like I'm on Bernie tonight. But pause. But like the point that I'm making is, I feel like we missed that opportunity of having a leader that does understand.
Yeah.
You have to try to convince them. So
yeah.
I take that point.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, good. I'm glad we can kind of close out the night with some agreement.
Okay, all right, let's close it out on this. Top 3 Marvel movies. Go.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, and
which one? The first one?
Yeah, the first one. Nah. It's the first one. Okay. And then the last Spider-Man movie that just came out.
Jesus. So our movies are almost the exact same. I'm gonna go Winter Soldier, of course.
Of course.
Infinity War.
Really?
Yeah. Infinity War was such a culmination, and it was the time when all of these heroes finally met.
I could disagree more.
You didn't like Infinity War, I think.
Nah. Yeah. Doesn't even make my top 10.
Really?
Nope. If I were picking like top 5, like
it was such a what about Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was pretty awesome. Guardians 2 was also awesome too, but I don't know about top. No, Infinity War was just so, for me, I feel like I waited so long, and it was kind of like nice to finally see, and it was kind of Thanos' moment to do what he said he was gonna do.
Yeah, to be the big bad of the series.
Not just the big bad, but like to make good on what he had been saying. Why he sent Loki, why he sent the guy with the hammer in
Thor?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the purple guy who had those Power Stone.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. I can't. Yeah.
No, whatever.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The guy,
the destroyer, something the destroyer.
Yeah, like he made good on it.
Yeah.
And to me, I kind of enjoyed watching him take that and really like mean it. And so, and then obviously the last Spider-Man, because Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
And just having all of them in one Spider-Man movie was just easily one of the greatest.
When Daredevil popped up, bro. Luke got mad at me because I was so excited. He's like, okay, calm down.
Right.
I was like, this Daredevil up there, show some respect.
Listen, okay, that's why that movie makes the list. I would say the first Avengers movie gives me the feeling that you're talking about.
You remember when we went to see that? Mom took us to see that,
bro.
You remember?
It was such a hype event.
You know, that was before I really was into Marvel.
Yeah,
like I watched Spider-Man, but
you weren't
like
you were not into it.
Stuff. I wasn't watching.
Okay, here's what's funny. Okay, I was always into comic books, kinda, right?
Yeah.
Like I was always reading them. I was always kind of into the stories or whatever. I shouldn't even say kinda, because I was a comic book nerd. But I would tell you about all of these comic books, and I would just tell you about the stories. You'd be like, "Oh, that sounds really cool. We should go watch the movie." And then I'd be like, "No, you should read the comic. It's even better." And you're like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah. So why would I read the Harry Potter book when the movies are out?
Because the books are.
Yeah, I know. The books are better.
Yeah,
but like
the books make sense by the time you finish them.
There's a Mike Tyson.
Actually, they don't. That's a bad example. Oof.
Oh my gosh. There's a Mike Tyson poster that I want to get for in here. But I want to get that Spider-Man 2 poster that I had when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
Remember the one where he was looking backwards and you can see Doc Ock in his eye?
Yes.
Where it's like basically a bust of his head.
But then it's literally the movie poster where you got the reflection in his non-broken eyelid thing.
Yeah.
And you can see Doc Ock in the reflection.
That is the poster I'm going to get. And then I also want to get the first Spider-Man comic book where Venom was in it.
Mm.
I want to get the first issue of Spider-Man, like the very first issue with the Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the only comic books I really need. And maybe the first Black Panther comic book. But like I want to get those two, the first issue with Venom and the first issue ever of Spider-Man.
How dope would it be if I just like drew the post, like that movie poster? That would be dope, right?
It would. It would be awesome. And you could put it...
I just give it to you. You can decide where it
out
go.
Of this house, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't do it on the wall like you did these.
Nah.
No, I like, I kind of like having like rando cool stuff in here, like that Thanos gauntlet and my new Star Wars thing I got to bring up here.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been putting those Gundams together and like just looking at them, like being like, man, I took some time. I did that.
I know. I kind of want a Gundam. You told me about that.
Listen, it's cool. You should do it. The only thing is, start with high grade. Please don't buy a real grade because the real grades are really hard to put together. And when you buy your Gundam, spend like $9 to $10 and buy a like model assembly kit. It'll have snips in it. It'll have like tweezers and some other stuff that you'll just need. It'll improve your.
It's putting it together like that. It's not easy like Legos.
No.
Oh, never mind. I don't want to do that at all.
Boo.
I'll just look at yours.
Okay. I mean, you can do that, and I'll plug the videos or whatever at some point when I start uploading them. So, all right. Listen. This has been the Pensive Brothers podcast. I'm Elliot.
I am Aaron,
and we are out. Thanks for watching.